Generally, we look at fairly old, obscure computers, but just occasionally I like to embrace my inner LGR and take a look at something relatively modern, but fairly weird. And here it is. It has, I guess safe to say, split opinions among the people who I have shown it to, either finding it cute or slightly creepy. I'm in the middle, I will say. The teeth, well, the dry bays and what have you are, oh, it's all very, it's quite dirty. Especially have been a bone of contention. I think for me though, the creepiest thing, and I don't know why, but it is the reset button, belly button. I don't know why, but possibly the creepiest thing for me. But yeah, it's an interesting case. And this is obviously just an outside thing. It's just a plastic fascia on a normal case. So yeah, I've done nothing with this, by the way. I haven't even opened it up. I believe, based on the auction photos, that there's a Pentium 3 inside here. Don't know anything else other than that. In fact, the guy had the Pentium 3 out in the photo, so I'm hoping the Pentium 3 is in here. But yeah, we can't turn it on. There's lots of stuff to do. If I, it's move everything that I around on the mat and everything. That's fine. Yeah. So incredibly rusty. Fortunately, we have the ability to switch that to. Oh my word. I assume 240 volts. I guess we shouldn't just assume these things. That's normally the way, but who knows? I've got a tool that I can use to switch it. Yes, I do. There we go. Oh my word, that was crunchy. Yeah, okay, 230 volts. That's good enough. So obviously we're not going to just turn this on. There's far too much rust. This has been in a obviously quite exciting environment. Looks like there might be some salt deposits as well, so possibly it's been near the sea or something. Who knows? So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up first. We'll test the power supply. I've got one of these little doohickeys to test the power supply out. And then we'll actually take it apart and just see if it's even worth trying to turn this on. If we do get it working, obviously I'll have to find some way of clearing off all of this rust. A good metal brush will probably do most of that. I don't think it's it looks like surface rust mostly. But anyway, let's open it up and then we'll change the camera angle so we can see what's actually going on. So, now it just comes apart. It's got these two clips where I suppose are supposed to hold it in place, but they're not doing anything, so I'm guessing something is broken. If we say goodbye to the Doggie casing. Oh my god, it's just... Yeah, come on, you come. You can do it. Oh god. Unhook, there we go. There we go, unhook. There we go. So that's it, as you can see, yeah, it's the fascia. This is really just a orange spray paint, in fact. The orange only goes around the side and then we're back to normal and not orange in the... Well, the rust only appears to have got like kind of that far in the casing, so who knows? Well, I say that instantly I see there's rust there at the front. Right, well that's the boring side. Let's switch that around. Right, okay, well we do have a processor. That's great. Doesn't look terrible in there. It really doesn't. Is that a SCSI Terminator? That's interesting. Okay. I'm not seeing a hard drive. I'm seeing a floppy and a CD-ROM though. So that's fine. Obviously, whoever broke this down probably took the hard drive out, which is a good thing. There is some memory in there, only one stick, mind. Alright, well I guess then we change the camera angle so we can start looking properly into this machine. And yeah, let's do that now. Alright, so I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see, but we'll try to make it as good as we can. So let's dismantle a lot of this anyhow. So we'll just take out a lot of these drive cables to get them out of our way. Go. It's not like it's going to be hard to work out how they go back in. Oh, apart from, what's that one? Oh, that is SCSI. Okay, yeah, there's a SCSI port in the back. That's interesting. Indeed. You just see that? Probably a bit blurry, but there is indeed built-in SCSI on this board. That is a SCSI terminator. And in fact, once we get some of these cables out of the way... Oh, are those locked in? Those are locked in, look at that. That's some quality. There we go. And you, come on. Can't get the clip open. Oh, well, those clips are gone. They don't seem to be broken. I think they've just popped out. So, again, it's going to be a bit blurry. Anyhow, they're not important and I will look at them later. So, with those out of the way, and let's get the hard drive, the power supply disconnected. I realise you're not seeing half of what's going on here. I'll just bring you out a little bit more. You better see a bit more. There we are. And yeah, so we have, it is not labelled, but I think that's 16 megabytes of memory. Could be wrong, could be 8. Offside for a little bit. And I don't think I've ever owned a slot processor before. You can see it here. I was going to be even more careful getting this out than I was with the with the cable. Does that work? I'm sure there are lots of people that understand how this works is screaming at me. Oh, there we go. It's out. There's a fan over there. We'll leave that plugged in. So, yeah, Pentium 3. There we go. A slot-based Pentium 3. Never used one before. Interesting. Right, what else have we got? I guess we need to start taking some of these cards out to work out what those are. Let me find a screwdriver. So, well, first of all, we've got our slot external SCSI port. There we go, very rusty, but the pins look okay, so that's good. I'm going to put the screw back in. Oh, very rusty screw there. Quite a rusty backplane, so that's our graphics card. Well, it's some kind of NVIDIA anyway. Can't work out which model it is, but I'm sure we can find that out from the code later on. If I remember, I'm sure I'll put it up. Oh, incredibly rusty screw. there we go. We have an Ethernet adapter. We're seeing a boot ROM. So I guess this has been used for parts. Oh, in fact, the actual port there looks a bit scruffy as well. So probably not much use that one. There's a chance it didn't come with a boot ROM, of course. It may be the boot ROM is just there to provide on-boot services, such as connecting straight to a server. Oh, we have ourselves a modem card. I don't know the manufacturer. There's all the... See there? I think there's probably two blowing out on the screen. Yeah, so there's that. Which leads me to guess that this last card is going to be a sound card. Especially since I see an audio cable going from that to the CD-ROM. Oh yeah, there we go, some kind of diamond audio card. I only really know diamond from their graphics cards, so interesting. Again, very rusty, but the actual ports themselves look all right. It's actually quite clean inside. I'm guessing someone cleaned it up, saving the presence of the rust, of course. So there we go. That's all the bits out. Trying to work out what is the manufacturer of this motherboard. None of this, obviously, my speciality. Stuff I deal with tends to have everything all on one board because that's how it was. That's how they used to be built back in the 70s, 80s, and 80s. But this, can't tell. The code is P2BS. I can't see a manufacturer. See all the adapter chips that are in there for some of the SCSI stuff. An Award BIOS. I see an Asus chip there. They did used to do chips for other people though, so it doesn't necessarily mean this is an Asus board. Anyway, we can look up that code number and we can work out... Oh, in fact I see a giant Asus sign right there. Behind one of the PCI slots. So, yeah, what's that? That's AGP then, I guess. Interesting. And it's got some 16-bit, is that ISA, isn't it? An interesting motherboard in that case. Right, well, again, next step then is going to be to test the actual power supply out. If that passes, then we'll use that, obviously. If not, then we'll just get another one. That's fine. And then we'll just start putting components back in and just testing one by one. And then see if we can get something booting on this. We'll just add in we've got IDE, that's fine. Even though we've got all that SCSI stuff, it seems a shame to waste that, but I don't have anything that can use it. But yeah, interesting system. I am now going to have a break personally. You won't see it because it should just be a cut, but we'll be back to this in a second. And here we are. We have taken out the power supply just to make it a bit easier to deal with. Yeah, I've got a UK plug in there. We have already switched the little voltage regulator to 230 volts, so that should be fine. And we have connected our little reader here to the power. No idea if you'll be able to see that, but we'll find out. So, what will happen? Tough to say. There are obviously a few options. The incredible rustiness of this power supply suggesting it's not been stored particularly well. So, this might just pop immediately with lots of smoke and hopefully not flames. But anyway, we'll find out and we'll be able to check what the voltages are here. So let's plug this in. Oh God. Okay. No smoke. Oh, right, we got some flashing. Oh, the fan's working. Okay, that's good. Okay, I don't think you're going to be able to read that. But what it says is... might help. We've got 11.9 volts and minus 12, so I'm assuming that's minus 11.9 volts. Plus 12 V2 is flashing. I think that's fine because I think that's for the expanded ATX, not for this smaller 20 pin one. 5 volts is good. Plus 5 volts is good. Plus 12 volts is good. Plus 3 volts is good. Unbelievably, this power supply might be all right. Alright, well, you know, I guess we'll try it. Let me unplug it. Alright, so lots of beeping, but again, I think that's fine. So astonishingly then, this power supply might actually be okay, even though it looks like that. I don't think it's a particularly, it's called premium, but I suspect it's probably not. Yeah. Yeah, there's only one minus 12 volt row and one plus 12 volt row. So that is, not having that other one is expected. That's fine. So, well, I guess we try powering up the motherboard. But like, I think what I will do is, like we took this out, I think we will take out the motherboard from the chassis just to make it easier to see what's going on. So let me get rid of this for now. All right, so there's our motherboard. We're taking a look. I don't see any tantalums, which is always good. There's only a few capacitors. And they all look solid. They look like they're all right. Not seeing any bulging or any leaking. Don't know what's gone on with that speaker there. I think it's going to be hard to see what I'm talking about. This here that's marked as a speaker just appears to be something that's broken off. Don't know. Well, all we can really do is test it out. So we need to plug in, well, the processor again, which I guess goes that way. That didn't feel right. There we go, that's in. You know what? Take it back out again. Let's stick some deoxy in there. Well, some unbranded contact cleaner. Well, not unbranded, it's WD-40 contact cleaner. Quick check to make sure it really is the contact cleaner and not WD-40, because that would not be good. There we go. Just in case anything's got inside there. There we are. That says CPU fan, so that goes in there. Oh, yes, we've got some bent pins there. All that is. That's fine. It's not touching anything that can cause a problem. And there's no inbuilt graphics, so we will need the graphics card back, which is this one. I think again that one. We'll slot some WD-40 in there. It's the right one, right? Yeah. Oh, that's all nice and rusty, so you know what? Let's also stick some WD-40 inside the connector, just for good measure. We are going to have to raise this. Okay, what we got that is not conductive. the plastic covering of this sharp handheld PC. There we go. That's now raised and everything's in place. Excellent. All right. Well, that should be enough to... Oh, no memory. We don't need to put the memory in necessarily, I guess. But we can do, which is the first slot. I assume the one that's open, because that's why it's open. Again. Slashings and slashings of contact cleaner. This should only go in one way. That way. Come on, in you go. Not breaking that. All right. So let's plug the power supply in. Now we are reasonably sure it's going to behave okay. There we are. What do we have? Need to record the screen really. Alright, so I've got my phone on the screen, but I couldn't get my capture device to do something decent. Well, this is plugged in, that's now plugged into my OSSC. I have put a jump on what I think is the power switch, so it should just trigger. And I guess we plug in the power supply. Now, all I've got to do is push down that plug. Just because the power supply came out okay before doesn't mean it's not going to burst into flames now. But hey, let's give it a try. Absolutely nothing. Now, is that just that I've got that on the wrong pin, or is it... We don't know. Okay, let's take that out and we'll try something different. Oh, it's a soft touch, right. Is that going to stay on now? It is, but we're getting nothing else. The fan on the CPU is on. Nothing from the screen. Oh, okay, so we are getting nothing. So I guess what we need to do is need to plug a speaker in. Don't know how we do that when that is possibly broken. Or it's a built-in speaker that isn't there anymore. I don't know. Okay. Alright, so we've made, I guess, progress. I've plugged in the speaker from the actual case. In fact, I brought the whole case up here to plug the speaker into it, so we can get some sound. Wasn't getting very much to begin with, and I took the memory out, and so now if we power it all up again. Hope you can hear that. Okay, so that, let me just turn that off. That is the BIOS for we have no memory, which is correct. That's good. That means BIOS code is running, which means the CPU must be running to at least some degree. Still no picture on the screen, although without memory that's not unexpected. So we put memory back in. The memory is really difficult to get in as well, which is interesting. I admit I haven't done PCs much for a while. At least, you know, not one's Intel based. or of that ilk. I don't know if the memory is always that difficult, but anyway, now with the memory in, well, apparently we still get the memory error, which is not what I had a minute ago. So that memory just not seating properly, or you know what, I'll have a spritz of contact cleaner, can't hurt. Right, let's try that again. Okay, it wasn't doing that a second ago, but fine. So, I mean, it's possible we have got a problem with the memory. This memory might be dead. It might require two. I don't know how the... because you don't always require two. It's only if it's 16-bit memory or 8-bit memory on 16, 32, blah, 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 etc. I'll work that out. Also, I don't actually have any memory, so that's... I mean, these are in pairs. That would suggest that it expects memory in pairs. And I just assumed because this only came with one, that's what it needed. I could be wrong. So maybe I need to get hold of some more memory then. The other problem, of course, could be the graphics card's not working. Because before, when you haven't seen it, we were having an issue where it was literally just saying, just not beeping at all and doing nothing. And the next test, I think, after memory would be the graphics card. So anyway, so this is going to require a little more work, but it's not kind of a gloomy thing. We've got some stuff on this board is working. The fact this power supply appears to be working is amazing. The CPU certainly is doing something because it's running BIOS code, and the fan on the CPU is going as well. So that means that an element of this board is working, and the board looks in relatively good condition as well. So anyway, next steps. I will sorry, I just saw a voltage regulator which looked like it wasn't connected, but it is. It's just got the grounding pin cut off. I think that's probably normal. Anyway, I'll look to source some more memory, and I'll also try and source a cheap AGP graphics card as well. I think that's AGP, pretty sure. And then we'll have both those bases covered. All right, and we're back. For you, just a few seconds. For me, it's been near a week, I think, possibly more, since we came back here. And the reason being, I realised I had to get some other stuff. I don't normally deal with this era of computer, so I don't have all the tools. Specifically, it's this little PC card thing here, which gives you the status codes of what's going on. I'm pretty sure we were getting that one beep, so I'm pretty sure this memory stick here is knackered, or it requires two. I'm pretty sure this doesn't need two, but I think it's memory anyway. I also did, though, I did actually clean the memory. I've done it before, but I did a more thorough job of it. I used a lot of ISO on it and did some contact cleaner in the slot and everything. And I replaced the power supply. I don't think I needed to. I don't suspect necessarily there's anything wrong with the one that was in it other than the rust, but you know, it was cheap, so I may as well have done it. So yes, hopefully this will stop on a code that says there's a memory problem. It comes with this obviously these things are, there's open source versions of it. I just bought one from eBay. Quite handily, it comes with this little booklet which has got a lot of the error codes in it, so we should be able to track it down. Yeah, so that's plugged in, that's on. So we turn this on and we should get the one beep. I hope so. I'm sure I got this connected the same way the other thing was connected. So this should beep, and it should give us an error code for memory. So, oh yeah, I added this button as well, a wide off button, rather than having to put a header on there. So we turn this on. That's it. Now it should beep. Is that? That wasn't a single beep. And that's still moving. Is that booting up? I haven't tested this. I didn't think, because I've already cleaned the memory once, so I didn't think that would do anything. There's some lights that are off there. I wonder what those are. But oh, there's no screen. Of course, there's no picture. I've unplugged all the cards because that's what the manual for this tells you to do first. So there's no picture, obviously. There's no memory card. But that only beeped once, and it was a different beep, and that continued moving. What's 43? 49. Right, let's look for the book. 43. Initialize hard drive controller and any drives. Nope, that's the wrong one. Detect and initialize serial and parallel ports and game port. Detect and initialize math code processor. I don't know if that means it's failed on those or if it's done those. You know what? Let's try plugging the graphics card in there. Let's turn this off. We should be able... Oh, turn straight off as well. I had to hold it down before. It feels like this might be working. Oh, Christ. Oh, wait. Oh, a week waiting for stuff, and I just fixed it by doing a decent cleaning. I did actually buy a second graphics card. It's a S3 Trio. But let's try the original one. I've cleaned off some of the rust. Just so it's making a better contact. Oh no, wrong port. No, that's the right port. No, that's the right port. That is the right port, yes. In that goes. Can this reach? Barely. Okay, that can barely reach. I'm not going to be able to record it using my normal recording device either, because it takes a while to sync the signal, and obviously this is just going to boot, so we'd miss part of it. So what I will do is I will set my phone up. This isn't going to be great, but once we know it actually is working, then I can try to do something proper. But anyhow, let's turn this on. And let's move. It's definitely still no picture though. No, okay, we're not getting a picture though. So it's still not working. But it's not doing the same beep either. That's interesting. I guess we try a different graphics card first, because this one obviously was in it and very rusty. Oh, never mind. Turns out the cable wasn't in properly. So that's working. Obviously, nothing is plugged in. Huh. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, let's plug a keyboard in. I think this can use USB. I assume this can use USB keyboard. It's got a USB port. Smash. Unfortunately, I've got to record straight from screen. Hello. Because my capture device will not pick this up in any meaningful way. I have a USB keyboard plugged in. I don't know if it's going to work. It did work. At least it did something. Oh, that's the scuzzy stuff powering up. I think I maybe accidentally hit OK, continue rather than anything else. Oh, apparently information successfully, so that's good. Probably. And the status code is now FF63. Okay, well that's what we expect, right? Boot failure. Oh, that's all off to one side. Yeah. I may need to just slightly adjust a couple of things. Okay, we're still cut off, but at least it's bigger now. Yeah, I mean that's what we expected to see, so that's good. I need to get into the BIOS though, which I failed to do. All right. See, fairly standard BIOS. I wonder if this time will save. I did replace, I don't think I said, I replaced the, oh, I guess that's, oh no, you can't actually type it in, fair enough. Page up, page down again, yep, okay. I did change the BIOS battery. It's just a 2032, so it's fine. There we go. That's all good. We've got BIOS features, yeah. Cache, level 2 cache disabled. ECC check. So there's loads of stuff you can do to improve performance and stuff. I'm not bothering with any of that just yet. What I'm really looking for is if there any of the SCSI stuff is built in to the BIOS or not. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there's some of the SCSI stuff there. So onboard Adaptec. So that's all the BIOS stuff. Okay, so it is in there, but it's under the PMP stuff, which I guess makes some sense. It's an add-on after all. Right. Yes. Why is that only saying... Okay, that might be a problem. Pretty sure it was 128 megs the first time we tried that. Now it's only 64. I guess it might be originally... No, because the BIOS would have cleared. Maybe it's just a BIOS thing. We'll try, we'll reboot it and just see what happens. Right, so now if we turn that off, and then if we reboot again, okay, so now it says 128 again. Maybe it's just because we interrupted it, possibly. It's a lot of interference. Where that's coming from. Anyway, so that's working, right? So I guess the next step, which I wasn't expecting to get to, is we give it some kind of boot medium. I don't have like an XT ID or anything like that, or a modern equivalent of that. I've got a compact flash card. Have I got a compact flash to ID adapter is the question. Maybe somewhere. But anyway, that's going to be the next step then, which will probably be another week. But you won't care because you'll see the whole thing as a video. But anyway, yes, that's our next step. So let's get on to that now. As it happens, there's only been one day since the last bit of video. So I got a compact flash to ID adapter. I plugged it straight in here just so I didn't have to bother with doing leads. That's plugged into a floppy disk style adapter, power adapter, and we've got a 1 gig compact flash. Now I've set this up and installed it using UTM because I've got a Mac, so I used the UTM emulator to make a DOS environment, and we then burned the image onto there. It should work. I'm pretty sure I've done this before this way and it worked, so I guess we'll find out in a second. I am going to have to record from the screen again because I cannot get my capture device to want to do VGA at all, so there is that. There I am. So anyway, we'll turn this on. Hope that it still boots. It doesn't, but that's because I haven't plugged in the power supply. I've turned everything around, as you probably also noticed. This is kind of the more correct way. This would be the front of the machine. So let's try that again. Well, it is getting past initial boots. I think we're there. Yeah, I've just seen the video pop up. And there we go. So we're probably capturing enough of that. Can probably turn off the SCSI stuff, I guess, to speed up the boot a little bit. Don't know how long this is going to take. That feels like that's too long. So is that not picking up? It saw the drive. But is that correct? Oh, no, it's not MS-DOS. Okay, that's what we want to see. That's good. Right. Excellent. That's a prompt. That's good. That's good. There we go. So I've got Windows 95 installation on here. I don't want to install it, but we may have to. Mainly because I was looking up some of the cards for drivers and stuff, and in particular sound card, which is a Diamond Multimedia. What is it? Sound Impact 9. I think S90, and that only works in Windows really. So yeah, may have to end up installing Windows 95. I did stick in the blaster settings, but I don't know if they're correct. Obviously, this is plug and play, so I may have to go in the BIOS to see what's been given. But anyway, we have some testing. So CK Pro, this should be Check It Pro. How do we run this? CK Quick? That sounds... Alright, that appears to be doing something. I say that. Is that supposed to be text or something? I haven't really used this tool. I've seen other people use it, but I've never used it myself. This feels like this should have done something before now. I'll try pressing escape. We can always go back in. No, escape is doing nothing. So I think that's crashed. Okay, that's probably not a great sign. But it might not be designed to work for the machine. I don't know. I'm not an expert in these things. That's fine. We can turn stuff off. It's not a problem. You get to see me again. We will cut quite a lot of this booting, obviously, for the second time around, because you don't need to see this twice. Okay, well, anyway, we're back. So let's take the positives here. The positives are it definitely boosted the DOS. That's great. I guess we got some games. Let's try... I mean, Doom. Doom's got to be a good test, right? Obviously no sound. We don't have a sound card in there at the moment. I mean, that seems to be working. I'll admit, I haven't played Doom for a long time. I don't know if this is sluggish or if this is working fine, or... What's fire? Ah, control, right, okay. Could you... I can't remember, could you... Oh, you can, right, okay. Yes, that's open door. Okay, well, it's coming back. It's all going back. I only ever used to play Doom with the keyboard. I know people play it with mouse as well, but I've only ever played it with the keyboard. Oh, that was a wall. Well, this is good. I mean, this is working. The graphics card is obviously doing something, as in it's displaying stuff. It doesn't look like there's any major corruption or anything. It seems quite dark. I don't know. I don't know if this is dark. I guess you could probably change the gamma or something. Like, oh no, that was the wrong button. Wrong button again. Anyway, that plainly works, so that's good. I know there's a way of doing like a test. I don't know. You know, there are experts that are much better at this stuff than me. But that's good. All right, Raptor. Raptor was a pain to install because when I was doing this on the emulated machine, it doesn't work well on fast machines. Well, the installer, I haven't tried the game. I mean, this will just error if it doesn't work. And it didn't error, so that's good. I used to love Raptor back in the day. Right, oh no, let's go for rookie. Yes, fly mission. Oh, well, okay, well the game works fine then. Okay, that's good. Oh, this still looks pretty good, I would say. I'm a lot worse at it than I was back in the day, but that's fine. But that works. That's good. Okay, so this is working to, you know, to this degree. So what we should be doing, I think, is trying to get the sound card working. So first of all, we need to put the sound card in. So let's turn that off. I'm really glad I bothered to take the time to put that button on as well. Where did I put the sound card? There it is. Right, well, I think first of all, we're going to use a PCI slot, so we will clean the PCI slot out. Get a contact cleaner. I don't think we need this anymore. Okay, we're not going to get the speaker in, but I think we're fine with that. I think we can remove this now. It's been very helpful though, thank you very much. And let's try putting this in. That felt very crunchy. I'm sure it's fine. I've got this propped up on boxes, by the way, so that the expansion metal bits, tabs, don't push up on the table. Right, well, that's plugged in. Again, I'm pretty sure this sound card is not going to work in DOS, so this is all kind of pointless anyway. Well, not pointless, but it's pretty sure we're just not going to get anything. Plus, I imagine we have to also go in and work out what IRQ and DMA. Oh, I haven't done this stuff in years, but what IRQ and DMA has been set to, so we can actually set those blaster variables correctly. Because I just put in default ones from the internet. And yeah, I got the installation CD for it, and there's no DOS installation. So I'll take DMI information. Oh, I guess that's because we plugged in a new device, I'm assuming, and took one out. Well, it says, okay. I think it picked up a new device there, multimedia device. So that's good. Right, so type, right? Types of DOS thing. Yes. Right, so these are the default blaster variables. I guess if we go into Doom and run the games and run the setup, we'll be able to Sound Blaster, I guess, 220. This ain't gonna work, is it? Because, yeah, we don't know what any of those are. You know what's definitely not going to work? We've got those speakers attached. Well, it didn't crash, and it didn't error. I don't know if it does though. That's the thing. But anyway, let me plug this in to something. I don't know what would make this work. Anyway, we'll pause for a bit while I go off and work this one out. So I've done some playing around, and I can't get sound coming out of this. Either that sound card's not working at all, which I think it probably is because it is being picked up by the BIOS, or it just won't work in DOS. maybe somebody who knows more about this stuff can get it working. I can't, that's fine. So I was thinking about installing Windows. I don't think I will just yet. I might do it once I've got this whole thing back together again, and then kind of do it from an actual CD. But I think, you know, we've proven that this motherboard is working. We've proven that the video card is working. Might be interesting to try it out with the one I got anyway, even though this one is working, just to see if there's any difference in performance. Oh, and I did check as well. The Check-It Pro does have problems with later machines, so that wasn't an issue with this machine as far as I can tell. Yes, so yeah, next steps are just to put this back into the case. Although maybe clean the case up first before I do that. And then, yeah, maybe we'll think about installing an operating system. Maybe Windows, maybe Linux, maybe something else. Who knows? Anyway, I think that's enough for this. We've got it working. We've got it booting up into an operating system, DOS in this case. And we've got some games to play. And I did find another way of capturing the video, by the way. So I do have some better quality videos, which are probably playing over this, actually, if I've done it correctly. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, anyway, whenever the part 2 of this happens, that will be us dealing with the case and putting this all back together again and then installing another operating system. Anyhow, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video, you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. See you next time.
The present is horrible. The future looks bleak. Remember our childhood to get us through the week. We're getting real.